I'm going to teach you how to create a value shading using a smudging technique and then a technique that is not smudged. And so our goal is to make it so it has this nice smooth transition from light to dark. And same thing with that. So the supplies that you're going to need is your 4B pencil, your 6B pencil. If you don't have a 6B pencil, you'll just use the 4B in order to get yours as dark as you can get it. And then your kneadable eraser. Your kneadable eraser is probably going to need to be warmed up just a little bit, so you can do that just by kind of stretching it. And like the heat of your hands should help to soften it. So you might want to take a little bit of time to do that. Alright, so here in the classroom, I had these little template things that we threw down and traced 2 different times. But if you're at home, you can just take a ruler, and they are approximately 5 inches long and by 1 inch wide. So you can draw yourself out a little rectangle strip like that and get 2 of them on your paper, kind of like so. Next, I'm going to actually start with the 4B pencil, and you're going to start and make sure that you have a nice sharpened tip to your pencil, and you don't want to hang on to it like you're writing, okay? So you kind of want to hang on to it so that the broad area of the pencil lead is actually making contact with the paper. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to start putting down a real light value. So I'm trying to concentrate on drawing as softly as I can with my pencil, and I'm going to work my way across. Be careful where you start to overlap, because we don't want to see those areas where it's darker and you kind of get that harsh overlapping line, so be careful of that. So I'm kind of just moving my pencil along, and I'm kind of almost coloring in like a circular motion with the pencil lead, and kind of get out here in your little corners. Alright, so about halfway across, I'm going to start applying a little bit more pressure with my 4B pencil, and I'm going to be doing more layers on top. So the goal is to get a nice smooth transition of light to dark all the way across. And I might start to apply a little bit more pressure, kind of going in a circular motion, kind of concentrating on areas here that might be a little more white. The white of the paper is peeking through. And maybe about here I'm going to start adding a little bit more pressure. Okay, so if you have the 6B pencil, this is where you're going to want to switch to the 6B pencil. If you don't have it, just continue using that one. And again, I'm going to work with the broad surface of the pencil lead on my paper. And you're going to find out you don't have to push as hard with the 6B pencil. And so again, I'm just working with really light layers. I'm going to go ahead and get this whole rectangle filled in. And you can turn your paper too if you need to. And sometimes I like to put my finger kind of right up next to the edge just to kind of protect my border boundary line so that I'm not accidentally coloring outside the rectangle. If you do, no big deal. You can come back in with your eraser, clean it up. Do be careful though that you're not touching the rectangle, the part that you've filled in with your value, because you're going to end up getting it all over your fingers, and then you're going to be making smudgies everywhere on your paper. So we're going to try to keep that paper as clean as possible. Okay, so here's what I need to do now. I need to keep filling this in so that I get that nice smooth transition. So I'm going to go ahead and make some more broad marks. Again, I'm keeping that pencil lead down on the paper. If you start to see individual pencil lines, it's because you're holding on to it too much with the tip of your pencil touching the paper instead of the real broad mark, okay? So do be cautious of that. All right, now that I got that kind of filled in a little bit more, now I can come back down here, and with a real tight circular motion, I can kind of get that filled in even more so that there's less white of the paper coming through. And again, I might turn my paper just so I have a little bit better angle. Okay, so there we go. Now, this is where your kneadable eraser comes in handy, okay? So I actually want to go back in and make this even lighter than what it is. And so I'm going to take my kneadable eraser, and I have different ways that I can do it. I can kind of do a little stamping motion to release and pull off some of that pencil lead. I could drag it across there. Sometimes it just depends what look you're trying to achieve on that particular lighter area of whatever your image is that you're drawing. The cool thing about the kneadable erasers, again, you can kind of pinch them. You can get them into whatever form you need it to be. If you have a real small area, you can do that. And then the cool thing about the kneadable erasers is that if they get really dirty, I'll show you, I'll pull that up off there. If they get dirty like that, you can, there we go. If it gets really dirty like that, it's self-cleaning. So all you need to do is just kind of work on kneading it. And then you can kind of see the eraser becomes a real light gray again. Okay. So I kind of see that I have a little bit lighter area here. I might go back in with my 4B pencil. And so again, the goal is it should be real light and gradually get darker and darker and darker as you work your way across. Okay, so then you're going to do the same thing, this whole same technique on your second one. So there, I magically have it done. Then you can come back in and you could use a Kleenex tissue. You could use your finger. I like a Kleenex tissue because it just kind of helps keep everything clean. And you could go in a circular motion across that value. And what's that doing is it's actually kind of creating a nice soft appearance in the value. I could also go back and forth kind of like so. And then I might come back in with my 6B pencil or my 4B pencil even and kind of clean up a little bit of this blotchiness that happened. Because you got to remember, you're kind of actually, you know, you're pulling off a little bit of that graphite pencil lead also. That's just two different value shading techniques. Either way could be the right way, just depends what kind of drawing that you're working on, what kind of appearance that you want it to have. Again, this blending technique, this smoothing, smudging, just kind of gives it a softer appearance. So I'd just kind of keep working on that a little bit more, and it would kind of end up looking like so. Maybe not so blotchy right there, but I could fix that. Okay.